nights I thought the pressure would finally pull me under. Moments I sat in silence, listening to my own heart thunder. Fear kept speaking through the darkness, telling me I would not survive. While I prayed with shaking hands, just trying to stay alive. And I carried hidden burdens nobody around could see, smiling through conversations while breaking silently. But even in the middle of that suffering, one truth refused to leave. The God who kept me breathing still had purpose over me. Take me. I know what it means to wrestle with exhaustion in the soul, to feel surrounded by pressure and still expected to stay whole. I know what it feels like to cry without making a sound, begging heaven late at midnight not to let your spirit drown. And there were prayers that felt unanswered, questions hanging in the air, but somehow deep beneath the silence, I still sensed that you were there, like a father sitting beside me while I struggled through the to my spirit, you will rise again. The battle did not take me, the storm did not destroy me, the fire could not consume me, because God was holding me. The battle did not take me, though I walked through darkest nights, mercy stood beside me and kept my soul alive. Oh. Sometimes survival itself feels like the greatest miracle, just waking up and breathing after nights that felt impossible. And maybe people never noticed how hard the war became, because some of the deepest battles never leave visible pain. But heaven saw every tear falling quietly in the dark, every exhausted prayer whispered from a shattered heart. And not one moment of weakness made you turn away from me. Instead your grace grew stronger. The weaker I seemed to be, the enemy wanted to spare, to settle deep inside my soul, wanted fear to convince me I had already lost control. But every time I almost collapsed, your mercy lifted me again, teaching me broken worship still reaches heaven. And now I understand suffering in ways comfort never taught, because pain pushed me closer to the heart of God. And maybe these scars I carry are tired of speaking full sentences, but desperate for your grace. And slowly peace entered the room, like heaven breathing near, not removing every struggle, but calming every fear. Because sometimes breakthrough begins quietly, before the chains completely fall, like light slowly entering windows, before dawn touches the walls. And maybe even now, while waiting, miracles are taking place in places deep inside me only heaven can reach. I pray for every weary man listening tonight in pain, those carrying silent battles while trying hard to maintain. The fathers under pressure, the sons battling hidden wars, the hearts that feel forgotten behind closed doors. Lord, remind them they are seen, that weakness does not equal defeat, and tears hidden in darkness still fall before your feet. The God who kept me breathing still had purpose over me. And now I know your presence in ways I never knew before. And now I know your presence in ways I never knew before. Because you stay beside me faithfully through every painful storm. Not once did you abandon me, even when I felt weak. Your mercy became the shelter my exhausted soul would seek. So if tomorrow brings more battles, I will still lift holy hands, because the God who carried David still strengthens weary men. No darkness can erase, but grace is already